A few days later, when we were working together, I pulled him into an empty room and popped off on his ass. Pardon? I beg your biggest motherfucking pardon. Welcome to your favorite podcast with your favorite caffeinated, medicated, and never hydrated. Actually, close to being a hydrated nurse now, Nurse John, in your therapy podcast. I beg your pardon. Bestie, what's going on? All the trees in Montreal are now bloomed. Spring is about to leave and summer is about to come. It's getting hot in here. Woohoo! Them seasonal depression is gone again. We are all happy. Everybody's outside. Everybody's sweaty. So please, if you are outside, make sure you wear deodorant. First things first, baby. I'm saying this because you guys, when I use the public transportation, like the metro, the subway and whatnot, some people, oh my lord, how expensive is a deodorant, you guys, that you guys cannot put one. It's like $1 or $2 in the Dollar Tree or Dollarama. It's not that bad, I promise you. I've seen some. But yes, this sweaty season, we gotta put that. And also, fun fact, if you don't know, the reason why you sweat a lot is either because you're stressed, because it's hot, and it's just a release of hormones in your body, basically. So the smelly your sweat is, the more stressed you are. That's at least what I've read on the internet. Evidence-based kind of facts, okay? I'm not just spitting this from TikTok. But honestly though, you guys agree with me, TikTok has taught us more than school. I've learned so many things on TikTok that school could never ever teach me, ever, or have not taught me. Okay? Well, anyways, I miss you guys so much. Welcome back for another week of your favorite podcast. Wherever you're listening right now, in your car, at work, at home, doing laundry, running errands. I just want to say that I wish you well, bestie. And if things are going well in your life, I am so happy for you. And if it's not, bestie, just remember that there's always another day to do it again. Every time you wake up is another opportunity for you to do what you want to do in your life. And also, if you are going through problems, challenges, and stuff like that, just remember that you are an independent person, period. But at the same time, if you need help, you have to know when you need to ask for help because you cannot carry the whole world. At least I tend to carry every single problem that I have in my head, in my own, thinking that I can figure it out by myself. And at the end, I am super stressed. I'm getting panic attacks and stuff like that. But then I just don't realize that I have help. I have friends, I have family who cares about me, who cares about my well-being and the things I'm going through. So just find that person that you can trust, the person that you can run to, the person that you can cry on their shoulder, and they're gonna be there for you for better or for worse. And I have a few of those: my best friend, my wife, my mom, my friends, and stuff like that. But if you don't have one, bestie, it's time to make friends. And again, it's not about making a lot of friends. It's more of the quality, not the quantity of friends that you want to make, right? Oh my God, we're starting with some motivational stuff in here. But I just, wanted to tell you that you're not alone in life. And if you ever feel that way, I am so sorry, bestie, but just know that you're not a one-man island type of thing. We are born to be able to communicate, to make relationships, to build all of this stuff with other people. And if you're not that type, take your time, baby steps, but try to socialize or find those people that you feel belong to, the people that makes you feel that it's okay to be authentically who you are. And if it's not, then they're not real friends and they're not people that you should be hanging out with. Period. But wherever you're listening right now, I just want to say I hope you're doing well, whatever you're doing. And I love you guys so much. I am still here in Montreal. Actually, I just got back 5 days ago, but I'm leaving in a week from now, June 1st. Because I am going to head to LA. Finally, I finished packing all my stuff. And I'm so happy that I finished packing. I hate packing things, moving, all those things, because it's so stressful. I don't know what to take with me, what not to take with me. Do I have to throw these things or do I have to keep these things? So it's just super hard. But yeah, our first plan was to drive from Montreal to California, but that's gonna take us like at least 5 to 7 days, which I did not mind at the beginning. Me and my wife were like, okay, we're just gonna drive with the dogs and stuff like that, and it's gonna be fine. But just thinking about it, imagine if we have to make a stop, which we will because we're not that crazy to be traveling for 2 days and 48 hours. And so just thinking about it now with all the things that's going on in my life, I have to take my NCLEX. That's one thing because I want to get my license in California and I want to be able to work per diem in the hospital in California and make that moolah. And the reason why I'm taking the NCLEX, and you're probably wondering, John, aren't you a nurse already? Why are you taking the NCLEX? It is because the NCLEX that I took here in Montreal is a Quebec version. It's a French version. It's not even NCLEX. It's called the OIIQ, and it's not recognized by the NCLEX or the English Nursing Board. So I have to retake it, unfortunately, and I'm so sad. I'm super stressed because it's traumatizing me because all my stress are coming back from when I took it from the very first time. But I think I should be good. I have enough experience. I'm also a clinical instructor, so the things I'm teaching my students is basically the same thing that's going to pop up in those exams. Hopefully, because it's a new gen now. And if you guys have any suggestion, please comment down below in our Spotify comment section and tell me what you use to study for your NCLEX and what's your tips and tricks to pass it. And right now, I'm not really caring about getting like an acing it or anything like that. I just want to pass it so I can get my license and start working because I want to go back and work in the ER again. And it's a good opportunity too because it's California. You make good money at least. You know what I mean? So that's what's going on. I have that. And I also have some shows running this summer. It's a one-off kind of show where I just go to comedy clubs and I perform, practicing and whatnot, and just making people happy. It's not a tour, it's just a one-off show. So June 2 is sold out now. I'm going to Brea Improv in California, where I live anyways. You can find the ticket link in my Instagram or my TikTok. There's a link there. Click the link tree and just get the tickets in there. It's gonna be my first time doing a solo show in the road, just me. I'm not with Stephen Ho because he has his own comedy tour. So this time it's just gonna be me. Bring your hubbies, your co-workers, your work wives, your neighbor, the whole unit. Just bring them. And what are the other things I have planned at the moment? Oh, I have speaking events for emergency nursing here in Quebec and some other university and stuff like that. So I have to prepare and make sure I have a good presentation for all of these events. I'm also running my merch. Yes, and talking about my merch, Bestie, right now I'm wearing one of my new collection of merch. It's called Fueled by Caffeine and Medicine, because aren't we all fueled by caffeine and medicine as a healthcare worker? Period. And I love the color. It's raspberry. It comes in a shirt form, and you can find it in www.nursejohn.com. And if you want to get a discount, you can always sign up on the newsletter and you can get a discount code. So check out my merch, Bestie. They're running low. A lot of them sold out during nursing week, but we have a few more. So go get them and check them out at www.nursejohn.com. And if you are also wondering, Bestie, what kind of caffeine do I take? What caffeine fuels me during my shift every day other than coffee? It is my one and only favorite energy drinks, Rise Fuel. Let me crack one open again for you. This is one of my new favorite flavor. It's sour punch. Let me just crack that one open. ASMR featuring Rise Fuel. So good. I love this because there's zero sugar. It keeps me caffeinated, and at the same time they have so much flavor that you can choose from. And if you want to try one of the rice fuels, all you have to do is type in Google rice fuel locator and you can find the nearest rice fuel to you. It's RYSEFUEL fuel. I love it so much. They have so many flavor, and I actually have here on my left is cotton candy, country lime, sour punch but blueberry, and right here sour punch, apple. There's so many other flavors that you guys can pick from. So go check them out. Rice Fuel, RYSEFUEL. And lastly, Bestie, before we proceed on this episode, because I know you guys have been waiting and wanting to know what kind of topic are we talking about. Before that, do me a quick favor. Make sure that you save this episode, download it, Follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, share it, and make sure that you leave us a 5-star review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts so we can keep our podcast on the chart. And share it to all your friends, bestie. They don't have to be healthcare workers, they don't have to be nurses, they all just need to be someone who works in customer service or someone who's interested in knowing what we go through every single day behind the curtains in the hospital, period. And also, this is just a therapy podcast for people who has trauma. That's basically what I always tell people. So yes, go do that for me, bestie. And all right, let's proceed on this episode. Are you guys ready about this episode? All I want you to do is hold your caffeine, sit down, relax, because we are talking about tea. And when I say tea, it's not literally tea. I mean tea like drama, gossip in your unit. That's right. I've asked people, I was like, listen guys, tell me the craziest tea, drama, gossip going on right now in your unit. And people have submitted some crazy stuff, you guys. Because I know you guys love to sip tea and eat some cracker. Are you guys ready? Let's do this. Alright, first story to begin with. FYI, all these stories are gonna stay anonymous for privacy reasons, so let's get into it. First story. We have 3 critical access hospital in the area that PAs will rotate through working in the ER. One PA was fired because he got caught sleeping with a lab tech in an empty ER room on an overnight. The ER was thankfully empty, but the messiest part was that this PA's wife was a med-surg nurse at one of the other hospital. Okay, well, we are starting rough in here and messy as fuck. First of all, this PA is married to a med-surg nurse? Do you know how crazy a med-surg nurse could be? She would literally, oh my god, she is crazy as a psych nurse. Oh my god, she is not letting this happen. And you know what? That man is probably scared as fuck too. And you guys, this messy hooking up story with people who are married and stuff like that is real. It's not just Grey's Anatomy, it's not just Nurse Jackie and stuff like that. It's real. It's happening in the ER and a lot of other hospitals too. And the thing is, you might be questioning yourself, why do people hook up in the hospital? Because the last time we've talked about all this messy stuff, someone said it's because of the adrenaline rush, the stress, the excitement of it. But come on, you guys. Some of y'all are damn dead married and have kids too. Like how messy can you guys be? Next, the absolute messiest gossip at work is about a certain coworker named M. Okay. And this girl has been late multiple times before her medical incident. Apparently, printing fake doctor's note to call out, attempting to kill her boyfriend. Attempting to kill her boyfriend's parents because they were being disrespectful, telling another coworker that she'd fuck her if she were gay. I beg your biggest pardon. And she started to not show up at work to milk out Medicare. Still on 25 pounds weight restriction after 6 months from a moderate concussion, convinced the manager to give her more hours eventually, but now the manager purposely gave her like 8 hours per week to get her to leave. She is messy as fuck. I don't know what's going on in her life, but there is something that's going on that we don't know. First of all, her faking doctor notes so that she can call sick is crazy to me. How the hell is your manager not realizing that? Aren't you guys making sure that those notes are right, correct, or valid or legit? And attempting to kill her boyfriend's parents because they were being disrespectful? I mean, the disrespectful part, I understand, but killing them. And she bluntly tell this to people, or you guys just like eavesdrop it? Like, what's going on in here? Tell me. But the worst in here is telling another coworker that she'd F her if she were gay. She's a lesbian, but at the same time, that doesn't take away the fact that this is harassment, you guys. This is sexual harassment. This is crazy. What the heck? She should be fired. Like, fired. This is some ethical, legal shit that people needs to deal with, because she might have been harassing a lot more other than just one nurse, because this is crazy. She is a filthy liar, and if she can lie about one thing, she can lie about many other things. So just be careful. FYI. Next, you want tea? I'll give you tea. So I am a new grad nurse who arrived in my local psychiatric hospital. When I got there was a question I had about guardianship and what that meant. If you don't know what that is, that's when someone makes decision for you and when you can be involuntarily committed. Well, this is important because one of the nurses on the floor decided to become a patient's legal guardian despite the multiple people telling her not to do it. She said, I just feel compelled to do it. They have no one and they need someone. So she went and got guardianship over the patient. Well, she had to quit the job at the hospital since she can't be there because guess what? She took it up a step further and adopted the patient. Keep in mind, this person is developmentally delayed. This person soon winds up in the paper due to getting into fights with said patient, ended up in the different psychiatric facility for changes in thought patterns and beliefs. Holy shit. I beg your biggest pardon. For real. Like, what's going on in here? Okay, so a nurse decided to be a legal guardian for one of the patient and then took it a step further and adopted the patient, and she's okay to quit her job just so she can. Okay, well, there's a bit more context that we need to know about this because why would you just quit your job just so that you can be a legal guardian for someone unless you have some type of relationship with this person? Like, I'm not just gonna say like, oh my god, I will be Mr. Smith's legal guardian just because I feel compelled on becoming his legal guardian, and it's okay for me to lose my job just as long as this. Wait a goddamn second. There is more into this. Maybe they actually know each other, or maybe they had a relationship that we don't know, but like being a legal guardian for someone in the psychiatric facility is really tough because if that person did not have anyone, you literally have to get to know that person like in all senses for you to be able to just be their legal guardian, and at the same time adopting them. Like, how old is this patient? If it's like a young teenager, it's fine, but like, you know, a patient under 30s 40s, there is something else going on in here. There's not much context that you've given me, but with this is a little too crazy for me. I wouldn't give up my job to adopt someone, but you know, she is giving above and beyond, and worse. Above and beyond an extreme, because what she did here is not, you know, happy for the patient, I guess, that, you know, someone is there to advocate for him or her, or someone is ready to be their guardian and at the same time being adopted by a nurse and stuff like that. But there is some fishy stuff that's going on here. I can smell it. We need to figure out. Please send me all the information, period. Next. Oh, actually, before we proceed, you know, like us nurses, we go above and beyond on what we do for our patients, right? And this is very muchly given in this profession because it's a thankless job. Actually, no. It's not a thankless job because that's all we get. Fucking thank yous. We don't get raises. We just get thank you from people, right? But what I mean is that this job really needs you to have the heart and compassion towards humanity and just strangers in general. And we have done it, but I just want to give you guys an advice that going above and beyond is fine sometimes with the right patient, but sometimes you also need to put boundaries when it's time and when it's right, because once patient, colleagues, or you know, someone figures out that you're the type of person that you just love to give and you are open to anything and you're always going to be okay, and that people don't see that you have boundaries, they would disrespect you in many other forms and ways. You need to develop a boundaries that gives people a warning that, hey, I'm not going to push this person because this person doesn't like to be, you know, talked to, or this person doesn't like to do this and that. That's your boundaries. You need to set that at the very beginning of your job. But going above and beyond is fine, but not every single time. You don't want people to abuse that skill. It's something that not a lot of people has. Going above and beyond, okay? Just wanted to say that. Okay, well, we have another one in here, and it's not nursing. I work for a family of real estate developers. They own a lot of commercial real estate all over LA, Beverly Hills, Newport Beach, and even the valleys. They even own a haunted hotel. So when I say they're loaded, they really are super rich. The tea is my boss is having an affair with a married woman. We'll call her M. What's with the M? People are loving M's these days. They met in a car show where M, she was single then, is one of those models. For years, she provided that girlfriend experience to my boss, and he was her sugar daddy. Whenever M names comes up, his cover is that she is his brother's friend. He even gave her a property that he disguised as a sale. We know it because he wired the money to M, and then we received a check from her for the same amount just to make it appear like he sold the property. This is relevant later. So late 2023, my boss asked me to FedEx a package to M. Oh, wait, 1 second. So late 2023, my boss asked me to FedEx a package to M. I have to tape a card that says best wishes. M is getting married to her boyfriend. Oh my god, you guys. Moving in LA though, you guys, is like, I feel like there's so many social climber in LA. Like a lot of them are just superficial. And that's one thing I don't like about LA is that you can really feel that a lot of these people are just there for the fame and for exposure and stuff like that, and they're not there for connection. Just because I have been to like events and stuff like that, and you can really see who's real and who's not, and 95% of them are not. That's it. They're just there for the business, they're just there for the exposure, the fame, and I feel really out of place because again, like, I'm genuine. Like, I will be who I am. I don't pretend to be somebody else, and when I go to events, I just feel out of place because I would just literally sit in like a corner or something like that waiting for someone to talk to me because I don't really approach people, or I will, but it'll take me time to really approach people. But yeah, like, people just like communicate and talks to you just so that they can make connection. And I'm not talking about relationship connection. It's like connection in terms of like entertainment and the business industry. And it's just so sad. But I'm so happy that I don't live in Los Angeles, in like the city. I live in the valleys, which gives me a bit more sense that I am part of a community and it's less like busy too. I don't like the city and I'm just so happy. But hey, I love California. There's still a lot of good people out there that's not in the Hollywood or the showbiz bit in the show business. But yeah, I can't wait to meet a lot of other people. And also people are recognizing me more now. I go to like Trader Joe's or like Dollar Tree and they're like, oh my god, Nurse John, we're so happy you moved here in LA. I was like, yes girl, you'll see me around, and you guys are gonna see me around. And if you see me in public, come say hi, you guys. I am not like those content creator or influencer that, feels like they're on a higher level because they have a following or stuff like that. I'm just a regular human being. Like, I don't bite. I mean, like, yeah, I don't bite. I'm just a regular person. Like, you'll see me, eating the same food, doing the same thing. I'm just a clown in social media. That's it. But this is crazy. I don't doubt you and I believe you so much because these rich people literally all have affairs with so many other people. And what I just don't get is like, why are the wives not realizing that? Or they're realizing that and they're just like, you know what, let him do what he wants to do as long as he's giving me his credit card or stuff like that so I can do my stuff. But then at the same time, it's just whack for me. So yeah, oh my god, that's crazy. Next story. I'm a travel nurse and hook up with a tech on the unit. Okay, period, girl. It's your story. We actually had a good chemistry and I enjoyed spending time talking with him. One day he asked if I was free to hang out, but when I replied what day and time, he ghosted me. Okay, well, that didn't go well. A few days later, when we were working together, I pulled him into an empty room and popped off on his ass. Pardon? I beg your biggest motherfucking pardon. Needless to say, I gave him the cold shoulder the rest of the day but remained professional in front of patient, as you fucking should, bitch. Because we shared an entire assignment together that day. Okay, this is even crazier. This is so awkward, you guys. Hooking up with someone and having the same assignment at the same day and spending 8-12 hours together is crazy. At least I'm almost done with this assignment. Thank you. Next. Okay, girl, you are messy. Okay, girl, not the tech on the unit. What's going on? This is why, and I feel like this is what a lot of travel nurses do, is that, they go thank you next with all these assignments they're doing if they're single, or, I wouldn't doubt if some of them are in a relationship or married and stuff like that, but god damn, you guys. Next. This HIV plus patient did not want us to tell his wife he has HIV, and they've been together for 12 years now. I beg your loudest pardon. I don't know how that works, but T. Okay, well, first of all, it's his right to and we really cannot disclose that to the wife. But at the same time, this is where your ethics and your stuff is just like fighting inside your head, and you're like, sir, you have to tell your wife that you have HIV and you are probably doing other things that she's not aware of. So I mean, like, how long has this man had HIV? Because the symptoms are gonna show up at one point, and I just don't want the wife catching the HIV too. Oh my god, this is not gonna go well. Yeah, this is a lot of ethics and values and stuff as someone, and we go through this every single day. I think what people needs to realize too is that we nurses go through thousands and thousands of decisions every single minute. When we work, we are thinking constantly, and all of these thoughts are like dumped to us at the end of our shift, and we have no one to tell all of these stories and all of this decision and situation that we just saw and did, because no one will understand us. People don't realize that nurses don't just give medication or like wipe butt. We actually need to critically think. We're like a computer. We're like an AI, but smarter than AIs because we're actually human. But the amount of things we need to decide every single day is crazy. And to think that us regular humans get to decide all of those things by ourselves or with the help of someone who's also another human being is crazy to me. And we are not even getting paid enough for those. Period. Next, I was working at a small surgery center as my second job ever. So still a new nurse, but the management, who were all non-medical, would put a lot of pressure on staff to cut corners to increase revenue. They were constantly trying to put patients at risk, pressuring us to do risky surgeries on a risky patient, to reuse disposable supplies between patients, discharge from PACU quickly rather than when the patient is ready, and many more things. It was a constant fight every day advocating for my patient's safety, and thank God nothing majorly bad happened when I was there. But then when I went to maternity leave after it was time for me to return, I ended up quitting and taking a job elsewhere. Come to find out, in the 4 months while I was gone, they had a young patient die during a completely elective plastic procedures. That patient lost her life, and I can only think it was bound to happen sometimes with the way that place is run. Well, should we be talking about that kind of stuff? We talking about someone died. I mean, like, you guys, this is also a constant battle that we go through as nurses. Is not only we have to fight patient, we have to fight family members, we have to fight for our rights, we also have to fight for the right thing to do, because we are always forced to do the wrong thing so that management and hospital can save money and not spend money on us when we do need those money, those resources, those materials, those things to be able to provide proper care to our patients. At the same time, we also have to fight colleagues, doctors, medical students to make sure, and I'm not saying fight, but like we have to advocate and use our voice for the safety of our patients, because some of them really insist of doing things that is against our beliefs and what is the right thing to do. And really, we all just want to be recognized for the things we do and the things that people don't see in the public and is more than what we are getting paid for. This is crazy to me, and I feel bad for the patient. I hope something happens on that situation, because if this facility keeps running, there's a lot more patients and a lot more nurses who are gonna be harmed, because obviously this facility only cares about money and what they're gonna earn and not their employees and the patients. This is crazy. Next, I had a patient in ICU that we kept alive for family to show up from out of town on 3 pressors and CRRT. Once he showed up with his mail order bride, he proceeded to tell me his life story about how he had the most college degrees in the country. He then took about 100 photos of his dying dad and posed very stoically beside him for about just as many selfies. I beg your biggest motherfucking pardon. He took 100 photos of his dying dad and posed very stoically beside him? Wait a damn fucking minute. You think that's weird? Well, later that night, he told me he wanted his father cryogenically frozen. What the fuck? Before I had a chance to process what he said, he showed me the paperwork he had previously arranged with a company in the area that provided this service. They showed up hours later. As we terminally weaned the patient, we had to pack his head in ice, pump him full of about 50,000 units of heparin, and perform CPR on his dead body to circulate the heparin. This was 7 years ago, and I still lose sleep over what happened that night. Okay, well, what the actual fuck is going on? This seems like a good Netflix series that we can all watch because, first of all, he took a picture with his dying dad and posed next to it. Whoa. My brain is not braining. And he wants his dad cryogenically frozen. And it's actually real because the people that he paid for showed up. Holy shit. I mean, like, I feel like this is a dream. I feel like this is some kind of like cult shit that's going on. Yeah. There is something crazy in here. I feel like this is something like rich people would do or rich people go through kind of thing because a regular human being is not gonna do all this. And this sounds expensive to me. That's all I know. But the things that they're doing here, yeah, only rich people would do this kind of shit. The amount of like documentaries I have seen in Netflix of like killings and murders and stuff like that, I believe that this is real. Next. The only person I ever dropped on the job was my Don, who actually was never a nurse. Buckle the fuck up. Okay, let's do this. It's gonna be a good ride. This happened when I was in my first year of nursing school. I got a job as a nursing assistant at a local nursing home. The director of nurses was very nice. She dressed a little odd for an upper manager. A couple of weeks in and everything is fine. Then I get notified the next day I'm supposed to report to have my skill level assessed along with few other new hires. We go into an empty room and there is our Dawn in a leotard, and here is where it gets crazy. She plays the part of a resident. She has us simulate doing pericure. I beg your pardon. She has us simulate doing pericure on her. She tells me to transfer her from the bed to a wheelchair. She licks me across the face and in shock I drop her. She tells me I need to be ready for anything. This is assault, baby, but not from my boss. The next guy, she grabs his crotch. We're all really uncomfortable, and I guess she sensed it and we were dismissed. A week later, I come in for my shift and there is a lot of commotion in the front office. Police are there. Apparently, the Don was working on a dead nurse license and she had spent the last 10 years going from places to job using dead nurse's license. She had a half dozen aliases. I'm always very interested when I see a new Don to see if she ever pops up again. Maybe there's a reward. I'm shook. I am shook. I feel like this person was a maniac, a rapist. Oh my god, this sounds like you, the Netflix series. This is a good Netflix series. Netflix, if you're listening right now, make this a series right now. This is crazy. That is sexual assault. And I just don't understand how some colleges or some university or some facility don't realize and check on people's licenses. You guys are super strict with your interviews that we do before getting a nursing job, but you guys can never check if someone's license is real and if it's them. Like, what the actual hell? How many people does this person harass as a Don? That is crazy. Not her asking you guys to perform pericure on her. Okay, the lady cannot. This is not right. I would not even touch someone's peri. I know that you need help. I am not performing no fucking pericure on nobody. And getting grabbed by the crotch, I would have slapped her. And if her reasoning is like, you have to be ready of the things that you can experience, well, how about I slap you? And well, this is also my first time slapping a fucking patient, and it's you, bitch. So you better be ready, because what the fuck is that? That is crazy to me. And finally, they found out about her fucking gimmicks, because this is crazy. Are you guys okay? I'm not okay. What the hell is this story? You guys, people needs to chill. I should not be drinking my energy drinks right now because my heart is pumping. Let me grab some water. I need to hydrate my brain cells because I'm losing them every single time I read these stories. Also, this Tumblr is from my website in my merch store, www.nursejohn.com. Next story. Young adult was dying from a genetic disorder. She had been on hospice. But when she entered the hospital, she made her mom her POA. Mom made her a full code. After being coded several times over the course of weeks, the poor girl was already decomposing. Her limbs were necrotic and she had an open belly with the necrotic bowel. Okay, this is gonna spiral again. My consolation was that the patient was beyond feeling pain by this point. She survived several codes, but inevitably, we couldn't get her back again. Mom insisted on taking the body home because her daughter was going to rise on the third day. I beg your pardon. What going on, you guys? People are fucked up. Turns out it was perfectly legal, at least in the jurisdiction. Okay. See? Our government, these policies are just making these sick people think that what they're doing is right. To take the dead body home, provided that the correct paperwork was done. The family loaded the corpse into the back seat of the car. They were unzipping the body bag before they drove off. It was a hot summer. Counter to their plan, the corpse did not rise on the third day, and from what I heard, the sheriff had to take action to get the body removed from their house. Not rise on the third day. Okay, only Jesus can do that. No one else. Anyone else who thinks that they can rise a body from death after 3 days in their house? No. In your airbed mattress? Fuck no. Fuck no. What the hell is going? You guys, my head is spiraling right now. Like, I would need therapy after going through this kind of stories. And again, these are real things, you guys. For people who's not a nurse, this is the shit we go through that you guys don't hear about. And the things that we wish we can tell you, but it's so fucking complicated. It's so fucking traumatic that we cannot even talk about it again. And it just sits on top of our head and becomes part of our trauma. That's what's happening. Shit. Early in my psych nursing career at a crisis stabilization unit, cops brought in a guy for a 5150 for lying in the middle of the street who claimed that very spot was his legal home. He proved it by having a pizza delivered. He's like, wait a second. Don't take me. I just ordered pizza and it's going to be delivered right here. You guys. And the police probably waited there until the pizza was delivered. Come on, you guys. He needs to be in a psych ward or something. What the heck? Next. Women with a stage 4 colon cancer, husband hasn't visited in weeks, came to the nursing desk one day with his mistress and asked us to give her the divorce papers. We all refused. He took them in. She refused to sign. It's very sad. Messy as fuck. Your wife with a stage 4 cancer is dying and you come in with your fucking mistress to ask to divorce her while she is suffering? Boy. I would have ripped that divorce paper. Fire me, bitch. But I would have ripped that divorce paper and he could take it on the floor and put it all together because he is a fucking mess. That is messy. Oh my God. And the mistress had the fucking guts to go to the hospital. They're all gonna go in hell. Both of them. That's all I know. Next. We had a surgery on someone who was abusive to their spouse. They tracked the spouse down to a safe house and was going after the spouse to beat them up. The patient collapsed and came to us with a fournier, gangrene, and COVID. This is during the peak of COVID time. We were doing surgery and the patient's spouse said they were DNR. We had legal and ethic committee working to decide if we should take their spouse's word for it. After all, who wouldn't want their abuser to die? Since they were married, the spouse was the one who could make medical decision. The patient coded and we honored the wishes. Surgeon called to inform spouse that the patient died. The spouse hung up and refused to answer any calls after. Ethics and legal said we were safe, but it gave us all weird feelings. So this is the type of story that I am actually not even gonna question. I am not gonna question the reason why the spouse did not reply anymore or take any calls, because she's done. She just got out of that abusive relationship. But the thing is, you guys, is this is where ethics and also, a lot of things goes through nursing because I've been in this kind of situation, but not this kind of situation, but like, I mean, like ethics wise, you know? And in nursing, we cannot judge someone or the patient we get based off their story or like who they are. If we get them as a patient, we treat them as like everyone else, even though that patient is a rapist, a patient is a pedophile, a patient is abuser. We have to treat them as our patient equally to everybody. And it's really hard to be on that position because it contraindicates your values, your beliefs, and just thinking about and reading those notes of what this person did to someone makes you rethink about your life. Why am I helping this evil person to survive when this person literally almost killed or, you know, abused other people? It's crazy. And, you know, we can also refuse to give care for someone, but a lot of times we're short staffed. We cannot refuse none of those shit. And we have to take it in. And it's crazy. But again, we cannot mix personal beliefs and values when we are at work. And we have to be professional. And again, this is some things that we still have to deal with as nurses. Of all the things that we are dealing with already, we have to deal to this kind of things. And it's so hard. It's so hard for us. You guys, we are faced with so many challenges and situation that the 3 years or the 4 years of nursing school did not taught us. They only gave us the basic things and we've only learned them as we go through the profession. And it's hard and it's crazy and we don't even get support after going through all those kind of situation. And it's so sad for us. It's really, really is sad for us. Next. During orientation, I had to do compression on a 25-year-old. She was hit by a car going 60 miles per hour while she was walking her dog through her neighborhood. Her mom wailed every time there was a cold blue cold overhead. She did not make it, unfortunately. Well, that is traumatizing as fuck. Yeah, I cannot with like younger kids. That's why I can never be a pediatric nurse, is because I just cannot see kids suffer. I know there's a lot of kids suffering and there's a lot of kids who needs help from us nurses, but for me, that's why I choose adults, because I just cannot see innocent young lives go through this kind of like horrific, traumatizing situation and ended up dead. I just cannot. Like, it kills me inside and I would be in a lot of like emotional freaking damage. That's why I did not choose pediatrics. But yeah, that's crazy to me. Next, I went to go clean up a post-OD intubated sedated. When the tech and I turned them, there were multiple bags of coke and meth. The two the tox screen said he was positive for. He then popped out 2 more baggies when we turned him the other way to get him on new linen. That's why we check every single patient once they are admitted. Listen, this is what I do. Whenever I get patients, I check their belongings. I want to make sure there's no sharps in there, there's no guns, there's no coke, there's no meth, there's no marijuana, there's no things that can harm me, my colleagues, and anyone who goes in that room. And it's our obligation to do that. Because a lot of times, some of these people will be bringing guns, knives, and it's not safe to do that. And sometimes ER don't have the time to check those patients, and they just send it to us like med-surg, and you just find out things that you're like, how the fuck did this not go through inspection, and why is it here right now with us? And it's crazy. That's why check your patient's belongings. Sometimes if they're there mentally, with consent for sure. If not, make sure you check, because you never know. When I was an EMT and still at third ride, my team transported a code to the ER. And while we were waiting for the signature, one of the EMTs decided to sneak away for a quickie with his nurse wife who was on duty. Okay. They was horny. Yeah, an EMT and a nurse dating together and married. They will fuck. They will fuck. An ER nurse? Horny people. Horny as fuck. That's all I know. They're too fucking traumatized and damn fucking stressed. They need a fucking quickie every single time. That's all I know. That's why I never sleep on the sofa, in the couch, because I just know Some of y'all fucked there before. I'm kidding. Next, and lastly, one of our former doctors was arrested for a darknet, planned to kidnap and torture his current wife and a colleague. It was also discovered that he had slave-master relationship involving that wife and a girlfriend, which also include blood contracts in an what the fuck is I beg your biggest pardon, and an underground bunker pit where he put her for punishment. It's been quite the show. I mean, what the fuck was that? Finding that out and knowing that you have been communicating and have working with that doctor who has some fetishes and some weird ass cult shit that's going on in their bunker and at home. The wife is definitely part of this whole fucking plan. And all I know is I would have leave that job. I don't want to be part of any of that. None of that shit for me. Holy crap, you guys. This episode of the podcast really took us in a spiraling motion of confusion, stress, anxiety, depression, anger, and oh my lord. I love this. I just love that I'm just like super surprised about these stories because I did not read them before, and just reading it with you guys makes me scream too internally because what the fuck? These people who submitted the stories needs therapy immediately right now, like a good year of therapy, because I could not handle that kind of shit. I mean, I have seen some stuff in the hospital too, and my hospital was on the news at one point, and it's like legit news, you know, because they found out that a housekeeper was trying to clean at like at 2 a.m. They opened the door and they found like a nurse and a doctor on the desk fucking, and I'm just like, ooh, period. They was really stressed. They must be really stressed for them to do that on an empty office room in the hospital. That's why there's a lot of noise happening in the hall. But yeah, there's a lot of things that's happening in the hospital, you guys. You just have to spend a day with us if you've never worked in the hospital. But yeah, crazy shit, you guys. I hope you guys like that episode. I love it. It's so crazy. There's a lot of the stories that deserves to be on a Netflix series, and I would binge watch it. Trust me. Oh my god. You guys, if you love this episode, do me a favor and make sure that you download this episode, share it on your social media, follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and make sure, please leave us a 5-star review on Apple and Spotify Podcasts, so our podcast can always be out there and in the charts and people can find out about it. And again, if you want to check out my merch, you can head out to www.nursejohn.com. And if you sign up on our newsletter, you can get a discount code. I love you guys so much. I love you so much, bestie. I hope you're doing well. I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. We have more to come. And next week is going to be very interesting. So hold on tight to your caffeine. Stay medicated and keep yourself hydrated for next week. I love you guys so much. Thank you for joining me again for another week of your favorite podcast. I beg your pardon. I love you so much, bestie. Bye.